Behind me you see one of a dozen water fountains that the city of Bucharest has, thanks to one of its mayors who built them a few years ago, probably because he got wind of the adulteration of the water for population control purposes, or perhaps simply out of civic duty. In any case, these fountains provide an alternative to expensive bottled mineral water in glass, which indeed costs quite a bit of money. But people who cannot afford it have the options of coming to one of these fountains and filling up their glass bottles with the beautiful water that comes from a depth of 190 meters. And the water is indeed very good. It is very high quality and very tasty. And that way you don't have to drink water out of plastic bottles, which is adulterated with bisphenol, or out of the tap, which is chlorinated and has all kinds of heavy metals. However, and unfortunately, most people are too lazy to come here and get their water, and those who do are too stupid to know that you shouldn't put the water in plastic, but rather in glass. And if you stay here for the entire day and watch the people come and go, you will see that the vast majority, probably 99.9%, come here with plastic bottles and containers and fill them up with this beautiful water, and in the process ruin it, because of course the water will get adulterated with bisphenol A or any other kind of bisphenols that these plastics leach. I'm going to get close now and show you how I fill my bottles and take a look at the chemical analysis of the water. So let's get close and take a look at the chemical analysis. As you can see, it is indicated here that the water comes from a depth of 190 meters. And here you have the full chemical analysis of the water that comes from the deep well. And as I have said, it is a very, very tasty water. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different spouts here where people can come and fill up their bottles. And you can see this person has filled up plastic bottles, as most people do, unfortunately. I'm going to fill my bottles now. So here I am with my glass bottles. I brought a few of them with me, and I'm just going to uncap them, rinse them quickly, and then off I go with my clean water. As you can see, it's quite easy, and these bottles weigh maybe 100 grams, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be using glass instead of plastic. It is not that heavy, not as heavy as people make it out to be. But people are just too lazy, and they would rather sacrifice their health for convenience sake. Of course, most people don't have a clue. And if you tell them, as I sometimes do, they look at you askance and wonder about your mental health. Such is the stupidity of the general population. There you go. Operation completed. That is all it takes to have pure, clean, and Depop free water. It costs nothing. You just have to go through the trouble of coming here every few days and filling up a few bottles of water. And now that I'm home, I just put the water in a corner away from direct sunlight. And that's it. I have clean, fresh, Depop free water for about 4 days there, maybe 5 days. And it cost me absolutely nothing, except a little trouble and a little time to go to the water fountain and rinse those bottles and bring them home. That's it. But what do you do if you don't have the luxury or the option of doing what I have just done, which is walk to a nearby deep water well to fill up a few bottles of with water free of cost? What do you do if you live in a country where the water is fluoridated and you can't afford to install a triple reverse osmosis system, which is indeed very expensive? Or what do you do if you live in a country where, or in a city where, if you walk to the grocery store you find nothing but water bottled in plastic, which is poisoned with bisphenols and therefore undrinkable? And what do you do if you cannot afford to buy water bottled in glass? Well, my advice to people facing this dilemma is that you get together with 3 or 4 other families and you hire a company to dig a deep water well. Most countries that are fluoridated, like Canada, New Zealand, the United States, Ireland, Australia, and so on, in these countries most people live in single family homes and they all have backyards. So this is definitely a doable option or solution to this dilemma. And it isn't that expensive either. It costs about $10 per linear foot. So if you dig 100 feet, that's $1,000. Most deep water wells will not need to be any deeper than 200 feet. That's $2,000. Let's say even if you have to go to twice that depth, you go to 400 feet, that's $4,000. You split that cost between 4 families and that's a one-time cost of $1,000, which is not that expensive. And then you have a source of Depop free water where you can go to again and again to fill up your glass bottles for free. So this is the solution I suggest to people who have asked me this question and who have mentioned these problems as impediments to their ability to get to drink Depop free water. Thank you.